Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. And here I have a city pulled up from the Root Metrics testing. And this is Shreveport, Louisiana. And the reason I pulled this one up, and there's several others that show the same, is T-Mobile's call performance is still a problem in 2023. It's still an issue. They're on the downward trend in a lot of markets. Kansas City, there's a lot of markets where T-Mobile has been moved down to the third place in the overall performance because of calling. They have the data performance down, texting's fine, speeds are good, but then calling is well below average. And that hurts them. It hurts them on the reliability part, and then the overall performance also drops for T-Mobile. So I went back on some of the markets and I looked at, because Root Metrics keeps track of all of that. They leave it up there from prior years, 2017. So I checked during the LTE days, and it's been kind of the same thing for T-Mobile. They just don't do calling well. And there has been no consistency when it comes to calling. So there's been some markets where they were really good, right? And I'm just backtracking to the LTE days. I was checking 2015, 2016 scores, 2017 scores. So there were some markets where they're really good on calling. There's a very few where they were really great, but then there's a lot of them they just sucked. So there's never been any consistency where you can look at all the markets, right? Like Verizon, if you look at all of their root markets, AT&T as well, you look at calling, they show consistency. They always score high. They're always first. And then T-Mobile's lopsided. Some markets during LTE, they were in the 90s, 95, 96, 97. But then there's some they were in the 60s, 70, 75. Why is there no consistency on calling? And it must mean something. It must be accurate, because if I compare the data performance and the speed, T-Mobile clearly leads that on Root Metrics. And they are showing this to increase and to gain bigger scale because of the 2.5 deployment. So it's not like Root Metrics is just blowing smoke. T-Mobile has always been good on the speed part on Root Metrics, but now they're blowing it out the park. They're always mostly number one or number two on data performance and speed performance. And the medians are increasing insanely. I mean, they're going in some markets, they're going from 200 median megabits a second to 450, 460, 430 megabits a second. That's a median. But calling, they just, I don't know what it is. They just can't seem to get it right. And I'm going to go on, I'm going to take a guess here, but I'm going to say this is going to get worse. I remember being on T-Mobile in late 2014, early 2015 when they launched voice over LTE. It was a disaster when they first launched it. And it was a new technology. They were cutting edge, all that good stuff, but it was a disaster. It was very bad calling. There was a lot of cutouts, a lot of block calls, a lot of drop calls. And I anticipate the same to happen when they launch voice over NR. They just don't do voice well. They don't do it. And the reason I can say that is because there's no consistency. If there's a few markets, good. If a few markets, they are number one, they're great, cool. But they don't show that consistency across the 125 markets that Root Metrics tests. So just wanted to share that, wanted to hear your thoughts on it, wanted to know what you feel your calling score is like in your area for yourself. Now, I know anecdotally, you might not experience any issues. Right? There might be some cities that you live in that Root Metrics is testing where T-Mobile is last on calling. They score a 91, 87, 92, whatever, lower than the competition. And you may have not ever dropped a call in that market. That is a very strong possibility. A lot of people don't call a lot. right? A lot of people do 400 minutes a month, and they say that's a lot. Some people do 2,000 minutes. Some do 5,000 minutes, and the more you call, the more you're subject to having and running into those types of issues. So make sure you guys stay tuned to the channel for more. Like, share, subscribe, follow my social media outlets. This is Tyrone with Tech Life. See y'all in the next one. Peace.